Hi, I'm Jennet Ingle, the 5 Minute Reedmaker. I wanted to talk today about staples. I've gotten a lot of questions about staples specifically since I started these videos, and I've unabashedly ignored these questions because, like the shaper tip videos that I made at that I finally got around to last year, I don't think I'm very smart on this topic. There are a million variables having to do with the shape of the bore, the amount of the oval, the size of the opening, and I genuinely don't understand them all, which I realized even more strongly this summer when I enjoyed dinner with my staple manufacturers and we chatted about tubes all evening. I know nothing. But in running some experiments recently, I did discover some specific variables that I can talk about, namely bore size, material, and thickness. I have three Chi Rho G tubes here in sizes 2 and 2 plus and 3. I've been using the 2s in my business for several years now because I thought I liked them best, but as I ran this experiment I've discovered something better, which I am excited to show you. Now, as you can see, the 3 tubes are dramatically different in size. The 3 goes all the way down on my mandrel, the 2 barely fits on, and the 2 plus, as you would expect, is right in the middle. I think I would have expected the 2 to feel the most tight, therefore the most constricted, but in fact it turns out that the size of the tube seems to have an inverse relationship to the opening of the tip of the reed, because I guess the amount you pinch the cane right here at the throat affects the ultimate tip opening. I didn't do anything special to these reeds. They're just basic Joe reeds that I balanced, a day 2 scrape, but I can definitely feel a difference between them. I kind of suspect that this distinction will not be obvious in the audio. It's more about what I have to do differently in my mouth to get the result I want. But let me try to exaggerate the characteristics of this reed. Here's the 2, which has the smallest opening in the tube itself, and thus the largest opening at the tip of the reed. Here's the 2 plus. There's a directness to that one that feels really comfortable. It feels like it just sort of does what I expect it to do when I play. Here's the 3. It's interesting, I think. I'm sure you probably can't hear the distinction, but I feel as I play that there's an openness down here in this region of the reed that if only I could get to it might give me a lot more openness of sound, but I can't get to it because it feels like this reed is held tightly together right in this area. This guy feels open to me right there, and open also up here at the top, but it feels like I can't quite force enough air through it right in this region, right where the tube is. And this 2 plus, sort of like a baby bear, is just right. When I blow, it has, for me, the right amount of opening and the right amount of just sort of directness. So that's clearly the staple that I'm going to be moving to in my business once I get finished with the set of 2s that I have. I also have these Pisoni tubes. There's definitely a lot of inherent difference between the Pisoni tubes and the Chi Rho G tubes. More things than I can really intelligently identify. They're just shaped differently. But right away I can see the thickness of the metal is very different. If you take a look at these 2 on my right versus my Chi Rho G here, you can really see, I think, how different the thickness of the walls here is. These are much heavier than this. And that, for me, comes down to resistance in the reed. I immediately have to blow more to get sound out of the Pisonis, which is something that I actually find pretty attractive. Here's my Pisoni silver artist tube. The bore size feels perfectly comfortable to me. I just have to push a little bit harder than I did when I played the Chi Rho Gs. Now, I haven't traditionally done a lot of experimenting with brass versus silver tubes. All of my other tubes are brass, and I've used brass exclusively for a long time. And I'd been using these Pisoni Artist tubes in brass for years, and I liked them, sort of. But they're very heavy and hard to get to vibrate, and noticeably inconsistent from tube to tube. Maybe I just got a bunch of bad batches, I don't know, but some had huge openings and some didn't. Here's an example of this Artist brass tube. Again, the sound is attractive. I feel comfortable with the size and the shape of the bore, but I have to push so hard to get that reed to go. And so I find either that on these tubes I had to blow like crazy, or I had to scrape a ton to just get things vibrating. And somehow, the silver, the exact same, I presume it's the exact same template and the exact same size, but the silver seems a little bit thinner and quite a bit more vibrant than the brass. It's a little difficult to put words on the distinction, which is another reason that I hesitated to make this video. I have no real good way to measure those interior dimensions, and I have no real understanding of what subtle changes in bore shape might do. I'm just trying to rant about the effects I feel as a reed maker and as an oboist. I suspect I'm not being that helpful, and I really, really welcome feedback in the comments about these tubes, or about the ones you like and why, and what you think are the distinctions between the different metals, the bore sizes, the wall thickness, because honestly I think I could learn from you, and I think the comment thread here is going to be just as valuable, maybe more valuable than this video I have made here. Nevertheless, I hope I have been somewhat helpful. This has been a 5-minute Reedmaker lesson. You can follow these short videos right here on YouTube. You can subscribe if you wish. I wish you would. And if you have any questions or comments for me, or if you would like to order reeds or cane, you can reach me at jennetingle.com. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.